you so much for being here. Hello and welcome to the first virtual Create Summit, which is envisioned as a forum for the world's leading thinkers on human art, creativity, and technology. My name is Lara Campbell, and I'm a founder of Artists&Angels, a startup community focusing on arts and creativity. We are organizing this Create Summit together with Veronica Sabag and United Voices for Peace, an organization that we'll talk briefly about just in a few moments. And welcome to our first panel of the day, dedicated to the healing power of art, how art can help us heal in terms of us, our businesses, our community, our society. We have some amazing speakers joining us here today, whom we very much look forward to meeting in this discussion on the healing power of art. There will be time for answers, for questions. So if our guests on live stream have any questions, please add them to the chat and we'll try to address them at the end of the panel. But before we go into introductions of our amazing speakers, I would like to introduce you our wonderful host of this panel, Ms. Veronica Sabag.
Hello, Veronica.
Hello. Good morning.
Veronica is the founder and the chair of United Voices for Peace and a fellow of Vital Voices Engage Global program, investing in women political leaders. Veronica is joining us from New York today. She's a global citizen with a multicultural background, a lifelong international experience, and a passion for music. Veronica has served the European Union in different positions for over 20 years, including in the United Nations in New York. And she also founded the NGO United Voices for Peace, fostering a universal culture of peace through music and arts. And I'm so grateful and excited to have Veronica co-host our summit today and be the host of this wonderful panel. And Veronica, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us and thank you for all your support. And now I just give the floor over to you. Good morning, good day, good afternoon.
So good morning, everyone. Greetings from New York. I'm really humble and honored to be moderating this wonderful panel. So greetings from New York again. Thank you, Lara, for this opportunity to co-host this wonderful summit that you're putting together and to host this amazing panel with these also speakers that will share their incredible experience in the field of the healing power of the arts at different levels. So as you said, my name is Veronica Sabag. I'm the founder and chair of the organization called United Voices for Peace. We work at the intersection of culture and diplomacy, and often amplifying the voices of underrepresented artists in spaces that are pretty unusual sometimes, which are related to diplomatic projects. But before we explain, and I explain our deep experience in this field, this organization was created now 5 years ago. We have more than 20 projects going on and several collaborations with a different range of artists, as I said, underrepresented in general. So be it refugees or women in conflict or women of a certain age, or as I said, the refugees or member of minority groups. Before I explain the different experience, which made us a very strong advocate for the powers of the arts in different fields and levels, not only mental health, which is definitely a very important topic, but we are very strong advocates of the power of the arts in general. And before doing that, I would love that the members of the panel introduce themselves, because we have here, as I said, an amazing array of experience around the table. So please go ahead and introduce yourselves. We can start Nima, maybe. I see the images on the screen. We can go.
Sounds good. All right. My name is Nima Yazdani. I'm the co-founder of Siddha One, an online healthy habit building platform. I'm also a videographer and a dancer. through my company and my skills. My goal is to create a better online experience. In today's online world, everything is in 7-minute attention grabbing timeframes. So my company's goal is to create content that's calm, peaceful, and has serenity.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Tatiana.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, sir. Maybe Tatiana?
I'm Tatiana Zalan, Dr. Tatiana Zalan. I'm a professor at the American University in Dubai. Well, we're currently based in Dubai, but originally Russian, moved to Australia, so Australian citizen right now. I'm co-founder of Vernissage, which is a digital art gallery, and maybe Richard can talk a little bit more about it because he's the CEO, so he's in the floor for that. I think I've been always interested in art, and as you can see here, I left this background because this is just proof that I'm indeed interested in art, and and collect art as well. And since recently, I've been more interested in digital art as well. And it's really, really useful, would be very useful to explore if possible. And I don't know the answer to this question, whether an NFT digital art can have the same healing effect or the same effect on people, generally speaking, on their mental, on their mental health. I also host a show which is called The Fringe, which is dedicated to the future of technology, science, art, and society more generally. So you can probably watch a few shows if you're interested in understanding what Web3 is or metaverse, what are the current problems, and of course about art too. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard?
So maybe I can just
yes, I'm
continue.
following the screen order here.
Following this,
Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Richard Zalan. As Tatiana mentioned, we're sitting in 2 different rooms at the moment, and not to cross feed each other microphones. I was born in Poland and migrated to Australia very early in 86, 7, I believe. And I became a structural designer that I would like to have opportunity to maybe to explain later how it actually art or creativity helped me with dealing when we moved to Dubai. So we actually moved to Dubai. Yes, it's real experience. Yes, so I'll be very happy to share it with you.
And probably just without trying to take the floor, but Richard was just about to say that it's a digital art gallery for emerging artists and artists who are particularly interested in art with social issues. And it's going to be not just an art gallery, but also a community for artists. So a social network will be a significant part of this platform.
Maybe that's sorry.
That's all.
Yes. Now you double in the image. It's perfect. It's perfect to see you together. So Sky, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. And Laura, thank you for putting this together. I was a university professor teaching photography for over 30 years. I, about 10 years ago, started working on this film, Lives Well Lived. I was approaching 50 and looking for positive role models of aging and just not finding them, and had a grandmother who was approaching 100, who was still working out at the gym, who was amazing. And I thought, I need to find other people out there like my grandmother. And I spent the next 4 years interviewing 40 people with a collective life experience of 3,000 years that were 75 to 100. And put together a film called Lives Well Lived, which is now airing on PBS in the States. I also do a lot of intergenerational work, connecting generations through the film at universities and high schools. And I'm very pleased to announce that I was just awarded a fellowship by Co-Generate Innovation Fellows. I'm joining an impressive group of 14 other social entrepreneurs ranging in age from 25 or 27 to 75. The fellows bring together generations to achieve racial and environmental justice, empower immigrant communities, heal trauma, register young people to vote. That's what I'm doing. Reduce ageism and loneliness and so much more. So the power of story storytelling to make a change is really where my wheelhouse is, in connecting generations.
And last but not least, Alisa, who's back from the meditation. Good morning.
Good evening from Berlin already,
Oh,
but
yes.
yes, good to see you, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to be here and to connect with each and every one of you. My name is Alisa Poplavskaya, and I'm founder of the Mandala Compass Healing Art School Berlin, where I am passing instruments for future healing artists or guides who are using mindfulness, psychology, and art therapy and combining it into one beautiful journey for people. I'm a spiritual artist as well. And since March, I am working together with Israel Germany, which is a humanitarian organization which is providing psychosocial support for Ukrainian refugees at the moment. And from March 10th, I was working more than with 500 Ukrainian refugees on the Romanian-Ukrainian border and guiding mostly art activities for children and women, helping them to release stress a little bit, to understand where do they stand now and where do they go, literally where they go. And actually bond people through creativity and art. I believe it's a very powerful tool.
Beautiful, absolutely, yes. So we will definitely go deeper into this topic. I mean, only by the sound of your voice, I think that you've healed us all here in this room, and in the previous meditation, it's so beautiful to hear you speaking. So, if you don't mind, we're going to go now, I mean, more deeply into your immense experience and extremely valuable for the topic. But before we go there, I would love to share this brief story of an old woman. I mean, I was about to start by other projects that United Voices for Peace did, but let me start, Sky, by this example of a woman. You said you were looking for grandmas. We had the honor to work with a Holocaust survivor that at the age of 90 years old decided to create a rock band to make her voice very loud and clear. Yes, so we called her the death metal grandma. It was an amazing woman. Unfortunately, she passed away last year. And we had the immense privilege of working with her, of following her journey, echoing her voice through a documentary called Death Metal Grandma that I will definitely advise you to watch. And the documentary was filmed by a woman of 29 years old, a film director of 29 years old. So this is a very interesting intergenerational dialogue because we know that the topic of the Holocaust is not an easy one to tackle nowadays, but this definitely triggered the attention of the younger generations. And before she passed, Inge told us very much how much this project, how much being involved in music helped her not only to find her identity, to echo her voice, but also to heal, to feel useful, to reconcile with the hard past by writing her experience, a bit sometimes with humor. Actually, she was facing death and the way the fears, she could assimilate all and confront all these fears by songwriter. She was always a songwriter. And then, as I said, at the end of her journey with us here in the Earth, she wrote these funny songs saying, okay, I'm waiting for you, death, I'm here, and I don't care, basically, I'm still here. And just an anecdote, we dropped an NFT when she passed away for her to live forever in the blockchain. So is the death metal grandma.
Very good. Yes. Absolutely.
So this is only one of the examples I wanted to share. I wanted to share our experience. I will invite everybody to visit our website. We have other projects using film, using dance, using other forms of art. But I would like to hear about your experience. So after the COVID, I think that at the government level, which I've worked with, there was a huge and global acknowledgement of the collective power of the arts. We saw how the artistic community mobilized around the world to help us overcome the stress that was linked to the uncertainty of this terrible pandemic. So there have been, be it in these countries or in the United States, or at the level of UNESCO or other international organizations, definitely a huge recognition of the positive power of the arts in healing our collectivity and the impact it has in our health. And having said so, I will stop talking. I would love to hear your different experience. If you can then explain what is your experience in this film. We start with Nima again.
Sounds good. So I think, Laura, do you want to share the video? First, let me kind of give you a background of our company before you kind of see the video. So we're a platform that creates on-demand content, yoga, meditation, food classes. We channel that through YouTube and through Instagram, creating short ads on, not ads, but reels on Instagram, kind of getting the attention of people, making them more calm, giving them more better information than just scrolling endlessly. So that's kind of our mission, is to create healthy habits, especially through online where everyone keeps scrolling and scrolling. So we create a lot of on-demand, high-quality content for the world to enjoy, and then everything's available for free. But we offer services like personal training clients, and then we're getting into some products in the near future. So that's kind of a little bit of a background, and then Laura, I'll let you go ahead and share.
Ellie here with Siddha Flow. We're at beautiful Chrissy Field in San Francisco. I've got a full body 20-minute Pilates workout for you today for flexibility. It'll help open you up.
Hi everyone, and welcome to our free 7-day series on the foundations of yoga. My name is Jacqueline, and we're here at Carmel Beach in California to start our 7-day yoga journey.
Hey guys, this is Jennifer with Siddha Soul, and today we're going to make a special kale salad, which I am excited to tell you guys about. If you guys love kale salad as much as I do, then you're going to love this particular kale salad recipe with clean, wholesome ingredients that are a lot of fun with a lot of flavor and color pop.
So when I think of you sometime, and I want to spend some time with you, just the two of us, we can make it if we try. Give me your attention, baby. Say I miss you.
Okay, that was just a short ad of kind of somewhat our content that we have. The full ones are on our website and everything. But, you know, our goal is to create, connect arts, which is chaotic, with a foundation of discipline as a company, and create habits for people.
Thank you. Yes. So now Tatiana and Richard together.
Well, I think probably Richard can share some of his own experience first.
Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned, I was having a big, long career as in Australia as a structural designer, running my own business and being comfortable. And idea came, we're here, we're in Dubai, and I very quickly found out that I'm unemployable. I thought I arrived in construction paradise. That's what was my my domain. But I was unemployable simply because of no company would have paid certain amount, would have paid for my services, put it that way, when they have many other less experienced and from different countries people working in a company. So for a man, it's rather depressing, especially at a certain age. You feel a little bit kind of as a lesser man. So there was a quite difficult at the beginning. And what happened actually, even in my design back in Australia, which is very rigid, very black and white. Building cannot be in a gray area. It's either going to stand or going to collapse. However, in my line of work, it always required certain creativity. And it was missing. I was missing it. So I grabbed the camera, invested in a half-decent camera, and went to town, Dubai, and started taking pictures of people, faces. And I went to a very well-known here, like a fish market, a souk with spices, and the gold market. It was extremely invigorating. And what I've realized over probably some time, I could actually see the clear path, what my next steps are going to be, what I'm going to do with myself. And things started to slowly fall into place. So I think this camera, I still have this camera, it's a big kind of tank. This camera actually saved my sanity in a way. So I can definitely say art does, or creativity does help you. Either you are, when you're down, when you're depressed, when you're in moments of, maybe quick example, as I mentioned, we're building an art gallery for artists, digital art gallery, and we tend to meet many different interesting artists here. Just recently, maybe a month ago, I met a guy from LA with Vietnamese background who arrived here in Dubai and was showing me his photography. And to me, it looked like a lava, ashes or something. And he said, no, these are macro photography of cigar and marijuana ashes in the ashtray. And it happened that he was a photographer. He liked photography back home. And during lockdowns, he could not get on the street, could not go anywhere. And so he found sort of this ashes. And when I started having conversations with him, what's with the ashes? I mean, there are so many other things we might find at home. And he said, I was wondering himself, he said, but he realized that what drew him to ashes is his childhood trauma. He was badly burned by boiling water, and his arm and skin is really disfigured, or it is disfigured. And he realized it draws him to this ashes, to this kind of source of pain. And now, apart from continuing his photography, he's also helping other burn victims, try to inspire them to be creative. And then he apparently running his podcasts and YouTube channel and talks about it. So I think it really does help. The thing is, on every day we might not even notice the creativity, but it's around us. But the moment when we really down, we search for it. So there must be something there because we look for it. So for inspiration or calmness, yeah. That's my experience.
Thank you. And Tatiana?
Well, it's not so much my experience, but I would like to give a couple of little stories about one particular art that nobody thinks about, and it's actually quite simple to do. It's embroidery, and it saved a lot of people's lives and their mental health as well. There was a famous embroiderer or cross-stitcher of German English origin, Louisa Purcell, and she was probably the first one to notice that if you introduce embroidery to people with PTSD, and that's after war or during war in military hospitals, that was during First World War, they become better. At first, when she started bringing hoops to this military hospital, everybody was, well, this crazy woman, what does she want? We're men, we're soldiers. But she convinced a couple of them, and they started to stitch. And the beauty of it was that these men were were in the trenches, right? And they were really, traumatized. They didn't have very good motor skills. They lost some of that because of the fear of shaking and et cetera, et cetera. And embroidery, she noticed, and the surgeons noticed as well, that improved their motor skills tremendously. Wow. So, and the good thing about embroidery, and nobody probably thinks about it, you don't have to be very good at it. And every day you can make just 2 stitches, right? And still it signifies progress. It's kind of moving forward, and progress means kind of development as well. And it gives us hope. So definitely it's, at least at the individual level, it happens a lot.
Very good. Thank you very much. And we would like to hear afterwards also at the business level how this can help. But Sky, maybe you can share your experience.
I think, Laura, are you going to share the trailer?
My definition of a life well lived.
That's a really interesting question.
I mean, I just lived my life one day at a time, and I did everything the way I thought I should do it. And I don't know what brought me this far. Only God knows. Maybe I still have something to do.
Life plays with you, doesn't it? You have to take it, and you have to battle it.
We all had to wear these around our necks from Vienna, and I was standing there trying to be very brave.
We were taken out of our homes, we had to leave everything, and we could only take what we could carry.
The whole civil rights movement was a big thing for me. I would be on the picket lines all the time.
An Indian chief once said, "You will be remembered by the tracks you leave behind."
The reason we had 9 kids is that I had an oversexed Italian wife who couldn't keep her hands off me. And since I never get headaches, I couldn't say no. My wife passed away 21 years ago. I am still married and always will be married.
My friends, they said, "Oh, I'm getting too old. I can't do this. I can't do that." And I said, "Oh, free with that. If you say I can't do it, then you won't be able to do it. Just go out and do it."
It's not your numerical age, it's your biological age. So think young, act young, feel young, forget the number. Which is your good side?
I don't have a good side. They're all bad sides.
I'm actually having breakfast with him tomorrow.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was brilliant. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much,
Very
Sky,
nice
for sharing
video.
this. Very nice. Yes.
Thank you. But as I mentioned before, I created this film where I interviewed 40 people, and what a gift it was to take that time to spend with people and to really talk to them. And through the pandemic, we've been doing virtual screenings, which has been bringing people together. I think one of the biggest things that came out of the pandemic was a sense of loneliness from a lot of different groups. And so one of the things that we did to connect generations was have joint screenings with students and older adults, and then connect those students to each other to interview older adults, and the older adults would interview them, and we'd have a big wrap party at the end of a quarter. So I worked with numerous universities and high schools across the country to make that happen. And we partnered with Senior Planet, which is part of AARP. They were kind of our umbrella within which we worked. And it was wonderful, because during a pandemic when we were all so isolated, what a gift to be able to give the two groups that were feeling the most isolated a connection point. And one of the most wonderful things that I heard from one of the students was that it was the first new friend he had made during the pandemic. And what a wonderful thing that was, that his first new friend was an older adult. We tend to stay very isolated in our little siloed generations. We don't tend to meet across generations often. And like any other stereotype or ism, it is, when you know somebody from that group, it's a little harder to have a stereotype or an ism about them. And we don't think necessarily about ageism being one of those stereotypes, but it certainly is. And let's face it, the one thing we all have in common is that we age every day, and we hope to grow old, because the alternative means that we're not around anymore. And so we are basically having a prejudice against our future self when we are ageist. And so to combat those stereotypes of ageism, I think it's wonderful to bring the generations together. It used to be that we lived together. I was lucky enough that I lived with my grandparents and even my great-grandmother. So I was connected to generations early on, but most people from my generation didn't have that. I was of the generation where people moved out to the suburbs and we didn't have a connection to an older adult in our lives. And so one of the things that we really are trying to do with the film is to continue to connect generations over time.
And Alisa, we're really impatient to hear your work and your experience.
I would like also to share a short video. And the interesting thing is that my life led me through creativity through different ways. So the video I will share with you now, it's meant to be for women, meant to be, yes. So I felt that when women come together, and express emotions and express feelings and express their intuitive creativity, some magic is happening. And when we really tap into our intuition, we have so much knowledge actually, which is already stored in us. And some simple instruments like art pencils or clay can actually help us to communicate it. And for our lazy and very busy minds actually to see what is really there. So, but from March on, I'm dealing it with differently with Ukrainian refugees, because I think the goal is different. If my goal was before to bring women together or to guide sessions one-to-one and to share the tools that I found powerful, first of all, for myself, which helped me to realize many things and potentials within me and to pass it on. From March on, those are the tools which are helping people to cry when it's needed and to let go, to release, to become aware and actually realize what's actually really happening. But for now, I'm sharing with you my first video, and maybe about the second part we will speak later if you feel like it.
Yes. Thank you.
Dear intuition, sorry for making you wait and choosing hundreds of other tasks over you. I will betray you no more. I feel you and I see you unfolding with joy. You heal my wounds through sacred healing arts. With each mandala I draw, you whisper messages into my ear. Help me release anxiety, bring harmony, and give me direction on my life compass. My inner journey of tapping into my healing power has begun, for me and for the highest good of the people I serve. Become a holistic art healer today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you very much for this sharing. Well, beautiful. Really, thank you very much, everybody, for sharing so many insights about your experience and your feelings as well, and your thoughts on this important topic. We have just been informed by Lara that we have some questions from people watching. So I'm happy to take the first one that I see here in the chat. I don't know if there are others, but at least I have seen one on someone that is, let me read that, that is saying that she likes art, that, let me, try to read that precisely. So maybe you can read, Lara, for us.
Sure. I love art and feel really drawn to certain pieces, but I have no idea why. So if someone asked me what my taste in art is, I would have no idea what to say. How should I narrow down what I like so that I can seek it out better for myself?
So I will quickly, reply. My first intuitive answer is that, art speaks to your emotions and it is not really rational. So it awakes something that is in you. That would be my first intuitive answer. But of course, I'm happy to ask others to give their own answers.
Yeah, I would like to add on to that. So I would suggest that art is very different. So I would suggest dance. Try all of these and see which one is your preference of art. Dance, draw, meditate, do yoga. For everyone, art is different. Some is meditation is going to be art. Some is going to be dance, and some is just drawing something, being creative with colors. So I would say try in all these categories and then see what sticks with you. For example, for me, my meditation, my art is dancing. It's a place where I can be very creative. I can try new things, and then I can come back to business and take all that chaos and art and narrow it down to business and structure.
Thank you. Someone else wants to take also this question?
Well, maybe I can just add my photography experience. It wasn't just much as taking pictures, because when you take pictures, you take hundreds of pictures in one kind of visit to a place. You don't see these pictures until you come home. And what I found, what was very calming, and actually that's where my creativity started to boil, was doing the post-editing and playing with colors, playing with lights, playing with composition of the faces I took picture of. And often when you take a big picture, big shot, that face disappearing, there's a lot of noise. But when you focus on the face, this was my creative part. And I guess we can see creativity everywhere. We usually seek creativity when we're down. We're looking for some solution. But creativity is everywhere, actually, and you can do many things. I don't know, that photography kind of always stands out for me. Yeah.
Thank you. Maybe Sky or Alisa want to give a reply as well?
Somehow I feel very connected to what Nima just mentioned. And I found very interesting to combine things. So for example, if someone takes an opportunity to sketch, afterwards to journal, and just to start a simple phrase, my artwork tells me that, and just write one page wherever it comes. And it will open another day, another door towards your own creativity through journaling. And the same thing after yoga or after breath work or after meditation, to draw for 15 minutes, whatever feels feels right, just intuitive. And sometimes I'm telling, please draw as a 4 years old, because once we draw as 4 years old, we don't expect it. They don't expect anything. We just experience it and see, and allowing ourselves to be surprised. Yeah, so to open as many doors as possible, and then to feel which door resonates with you the most.
Totally agree. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with everyone, what everybody's already said. I think it's been well said already.
Thank you so much. And do we have other questions maybe?
We do. In fact, we have one question for Nima. What inspired Nima? And then the next one, maybe Nima can couple up on that. What is one unique way we can incorporate art into our day for healing? And then everybody else can answer.
Great questions. Well, what inspired me with my company Siddha One was after the pandemic happened, I went to yoga studios and they were all closed out. So I was like, this is probably closed for everyone, and then no one could practice. And then I first started out creating live classes. I hired the best talent in the Bay Area, made live backgrounds, very nice backgrounds, great cameras. But I noticed a lot of the people that were watching, they wanted to pause the video, go and come back, and then the live didn't have that feature really well. So we instead decided to make everything on demand, pre-recorded. Instead, we added a lot more value and quality of audio and video, shooting stuff outdoors, being more creative with the content. And then before that, I used to also be a trainer. So I know that one of the challenges people have in their daily life is creating habits. It's not just starting something, but it's sticking to something. And that's one of the biggest challenges that everyone kind of faces, is getting started with something and continuing it and then creating progress with it. And then I combine everything, and then Siddha One is kind of the result of all that. But regarding to adding art in your daily life, I would say we have a lot of content on healing. So there is sound healing, therapy, music sessions. We've done those, but we haven't released them yet. But we have a lot of content on meditation classes. I would say start your day with a 3-minute meditation and then journal after that how you feel. That's kind of one of the best ways to get art and your mind flowing with creativity afterwards.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. I don't know if somebody else, but we've heard a lot about how much art is helping us as individuals. So as you said, to express our creativity, to find our voice, to build up our identity, to feel useful somehow. But I would suggest that as a final remark, we also discuss a little bit, and maybe I'm turning to Tatiana and Richard, how this can improve the quality of our business. What is the added value that we can add to your business efficiency or even economy? How this can help running your business, for instance. Inserting these skills, these specific skills or specific traits of personality.
Okay, I think I can probably mention again, based on speaking to many young artists, there is still old school of using Instagram, where young artists put the portfolio on Instagram, and every time someone speaks to them, they show, oh, look at this. These are my whatever, art, photos, pictures, something. And I've realized they've never been to real gallery. They've never seen art in any proper physical form, whether it's a painting, whether it's a sculpture, whether it's anything. And they never realize that there's a connection. When you go to gallery and you see something, you feel connection or you don't feel connection. If you don't feel connection, you obviously move on. If you do, what in most cases there is a certain story attached to this connection, and that's what makes you feel kind of wanting to not buy immediately. You can't go buy in Mona Lisa, okay, because it's a great story, but this is the connection, and we are running our face-to-face meetings with artists, and we just trying to tell them, guys, give us a story, because everything has story. Anything you think about has a story, and that might improve your visibility, that might improve your potential finding your buyer or your collector, but gives us a story. However, you also know that many artists are rather kind of closed in, very introvert. So it might be very hard for them to do it publicly, but we're trying to build a tool now for them. Do it in your private home, just tell your story and send it to us. We will do it, the rest for you. So what I'm trying to say is a story. There's a story behind anything, whether it's artist story, whether it's been depicted, it's a story, whether how that piece of art came to life, it's a story. Anything has a story. Like I mentioned about this guy, Vietnamese guy, American, but the one who was burnt with the boiling water. There's a normal story. And when I see his pictures now, his photos, they speak completely different to me. And people don't realize it. So story. Yeah, that's me.
Yes, expressing your own identity, definitely.
That's true. I just want to maybe add to the previous question about how we can incorporate art into incorporate art to heal ourselves on a daily basis. And by the way, there is a huge area now in neuroscience called neuroaesthetics, which is kind of part of aesthetics, but also bringing neuroscience with aesthetics and art, generally speaking. So a lot of recommendations these days are not just based on hearsay, on kind of subjective reflection of, yes, it improves my life, but actually on how brain works. There are studies, fMRI, and so on. And one of the interesting studies showed that actually the part of the brain that's responsible for enjoying art, and particularly visual art, like Monet, like Botticelli, well, it's also the same part of your brain that's responsible for love and dopamine, all these emotions. So when you're finding this connection, it's actually going to improve your well-being. It's going to make you feel ecstatic about things, make you feel in love, and what's really better than that. And for those of you who want something really, really simple on a daily basis to heal through art, and that's really playing with material which is playable, like dough, for example, and trying to create things out of that, because it's passing. You don't need to have any skills, and yet it relaxes you, it moves away your stress. That's scientifically proven. It's not just like something out of thin air. No.
Totally agree.
And I just want to add, one of the people in my film who had a profound effect on me, he said, look at the beauty around you. And so many times I have caught myself after that looking at my phone, and I'm in a beautiful place, and I think put the phone away and look at the beauty around you. So art doesn't mean that you have to make something or do something. It could be that you just appreciate your surroundings, and you appreciate the smell, you appreciate what you're seeing, the sound, the feel of the wind against your skin. Any of those things are art. And so I think just to expand the definition of what art is, that it doesn't have to be that you have to feel like you have to do something. It could just be a matter of taking a moment to appreciate and really look and really be in the moment.
It's true, actually. Absolutely, yes.
Wow.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, we've covered so much so far: the definition of art, the neuroscience, identity, hope, power, collective well-being. I think this has been really an extremely interesting discussion. I will just would like to ask Laura if there are any other questions or maybe any other final remarks that you would like to make here.
We do have some, thank you so much, Veronica. We do have some more questions, but unfortunately we're running out of time for this first panel, but we'll definitely invite all viewers to send these questions to us so we can forward them to our speakers, or we can talk about them at our next Create Summit.
Exactly.
at a longer session on the healing power of art. And thank you so much, Veronica, for hosting this wonderful panel. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating in it. We couldn't imagine a more wonderful, productive discussion. Thank you all, Sky, Alisa, Tatiana, Richard, Nima, for your contributions. All of them are extremely valuable. And this wisdom will be harnessed and used in the manifesto, in the arts manifesto that we're putting together based on this summit. It's kind of, we're calling it the arts manifesto of the new age. And that we hope that you can contribute to by signing. You have already contributed to that. And dear guests of the Create Summit, dear esteemed visitors, thank you for your questions, for staying with us. Please continue staying with the Create Summit live stream. We have a workshop on neurographic art coming up right after that. Very exciting. And maybe I will give the floor back to Veronica for any final remarks for anyone who wants to share something or say something from our speakers. Please do. And thank you so much for being here, all of you.
Thank you, Lara, for that. I thank you all for sharing this interesting panel. I hope that we can meet very soon, as Lara said, maybe in a future, again, in another Create the Summit next year or even earlier, if Lara has the courage to repeat all these efforts. But thank you very much for joining us, to everybody. And well, let's, as we say, let's make art, not war.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much. Thank you.
How is everyone feeling after this session?
Good.
Yeah,
Good,
great. Yes.
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
Laura, thank you for organizing it.
Yeah, me too. I learned a lot. Thank you so much, really, for sharing all your experiences. I mean, I love all the videos.
Yeah.
Very fascinating. Thank you, everyone.
Yes,
Thank you
very much.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Goodbye.